I mean, for sure it won't be broken. They have like almost a century of dividends to be deployed if in case it needed. They will find many ways to raise capital instead of selling their own Bitcoin. So for sure, if Bitcoin will stay at this price or lower for the next 4 years, for sure we will have some pressure, even more pressure to the stock, and probably also in some convertible notes. But again, only a couple of those notes are like not in the money yet, so it will mean that strategy needs to find new capital to extend and refinance those debts, notably one tranche of 3 billions, which seems a lot. It is a lot, but again, strategy has a balance sheet of 60 billion in Bitcoin, so it's like 5% of this, and I think as a company it's pretty solid. It has one of the most capitalized balance sheet on the planet, so I think it won't be that difficult to try to refinance with a different instrument or try to extend potentially this loan, maybe not with a maturity of 2028 or 2029, but maybe go to 2033 and just buy some more time. So, there is no liquidation for sale, or there is no Bitcoin that they need to sell in case of a price going below a certain threshold. They've been very, very clear on that. You can, if people have doubts, they can just go and check on their own website. On strategy.com is like a live dashboard in which you can see all the terms, all the live data. So I think it's one of the most transparent company out there. So every time we see this FUD, every time we see this kind of attacks on Sailor, I think it's normal part of try to shake out the most people out of any trade. It happens with Bitcoin, it happens with strategy, it happens with Tesla, it happens with everything. So I think we just need to wait.
Hello, this is the Bitcoin Libertarian, and I'm back with my background. In fact, this doesn't have to be the background now, but as I'm just came back from my trip, I'm still in my house, but probably from next week, we are going to be doing the stream from our studio. So, but again, it's been a couple of funny days with the Bitcoin price going down, with me coming back from Argentina with a little bit of jet lag. So let's hope next week everything starts getting normal. Bitcoin price start getting normal again, and my sleep becomes normal, so we can do better things. But let me welcome Marco today. How are you doing, Marco?
Hi, Fernando. So funny, what you said, funny prices. I don't know if it's funny, it's the right adjective, but yes, for sure it's something that we didn't expect maybe, but Bitcoin used to be like this in the past. So
it's funny because, and now I'm gonna do a record in Spanish because it's funny because now all the people start talking about what can happen, and there come these guys saying that it's going to zero. Everyone started throwing prices like crazy that it's gonna go 40. Everyone probably knows that. Try to show that they know what can happen, but to be honest, I don't know. Nobody knows what can happen.
nobody knows.
Seems that we reached the bottom, but this is Bitcoin. That's the fun of Bitcoin. At the end of the day, we all know that it's gonna go up, and this dip will be a funny tale to talk, like probably probably 4 years from now, when Bitcoin is around 500K, we are gonna be laughing about this drop. Probably in the future, when drops from 1 million to 500K, we're gonna be laughing, but it is what it is. Of course, a lot of people that came last year to Bitcoin, maybe they are a little bit nervous, but I saw Bitcoin going from 16K, from 17K to 3K. I saw Bitcoin going from 69K to 16K. And this year, I saw Bitcoin going from almost 110K to 75K. So, and then reaching a new all-time high. So this is funny because, again, a lot of people say Bitcoin is crashing, it's going to go to zero, strategy is going to go bankruptcy. All of other people say, no, we reached the bottom. We are going to reach a new all-time high in few weeks. Nobody knows. This is the time where you learn about Bitcoin and you learn what you need to do. That is, stack sats, stay humble, enjoy the ride. And if we are not ready for these shakes, go to another place. You don't have to be here.
Yeah, no, I think as we said multiple times, those months, so November, probably also December, will be crucial to see which side of the narratives is correct. If the Fourier cycle folks or the new Wall Street institutional guy for Bitcoin saying that now is different. So I think now the next still probably 1-2 months will be crucial to see if Bitcoin can recover and jump maybe higher, because right now we are on this long-term. I don't know, Fernando, if you can see it here.
Yeah, I can
But
see perfect.
yeah, on the long-term moving average, that to be honest, we didn't touch it since the breakout we had here back in back in 2023, and I think it's kind of healthy. Of course, it's not pleasure to see this kind of drop, because it went down like 30% plus from this 126,000 high. And this kind of drop reminded me, I don't know, Fernando, if it reminded you something similar, but what we experienced in the first part of the last bull run in 2021,
Mm-hmm.
where Bitcoin had this great spike. I mean, the magnitude is different, but the behavior is kind of the same. And then we saw this massive drop in a couple of weeks. So here we were at 64, and then like 6-7 weeks later we've been down to 29. So like 55, maybe even 60% drop from top to bottom. And I think here it's kind of similar. So we had like a lot of euphoria for October that didn't show off, a lot of euphoria for up November that didn't so far. It's not for sure a good month, quite the opposite. Then we had the massive liquidation on the 10th of October. So a lot of things came together, and in 6-7 weeks, we moved from this 126 local top for me to 83. No, maybe even less, to 80, and now we are
88,
afloat
yeah.
86. And I think yes, technical analysis it's important. I don't believe in technical analysis, but in the short term, technical analysis is very crucial. So if we see gaps in the CME future, if we see gaps on or maybe violent moves, and we have still yet to reach a moving average, probably the price go there. So I think now, if the theory that we are no longer in the Fourier cycle will play out, I think the bottom is in. If the theory will remain in place, meaning that the Fourier cycle is still intact, then it's likely that we go down even more. So that's why for me it's crucial to see if the demand will show off, if the bulls will regain momentum, if people starts to buy back Bitcoin in massive volumes, if DTFs are still buying, if the MicroStrategy of the world are trying to increase their purchases. And then yes, we will see from there. So the end of the year will be unlikely from the past, and it will be for sure something new on both sides. So I'm pretty sure nobody knows exactly how this will
That's
unfold.
that's what I say. That's what I say, that the 4-year cycles are over, and what we are seeing now is totally new, and what
Mhm.
we are gonna see in the next months is totally new. And again, I'm super bullish with Bitcoin. So for me, this is not something that to be scared of. I don't think that the Bitcoin can go even down. Of course, the power law says that we can still go down around 50, 55. But I think that we are moving away from the power law. So this means that we can see some recovery. But at the end of the day, is what I see. Nobody knows. Nobody, and that's the funny thing of today, that now everything is coming with theories, with crazy theories.
And
There is a
everyone is
guy
right.
there is a guy who, of course, now that that is a good moment to generate super clickbait content. and gain new followers. But again, I'm on this day, I'm conservative. I'm gonna do an episode in Spanish that is gonna be my comeback of my Spanish channel after my trip, being like, again, saying nobody knows what can happen. If you want to believe that these guys that says that Bitcoin is gonna go to 40K, go ahead, sell all your Bitcoin or wait until it's 40K and buy in 40K. If you don't believe that this happened, keep buying now because probably this is the bottom. But at the end of the day, is nobody knows, and this shows that the best strategy for everyone is to do DCA, to buy an amount of Bitcoin that you know that this money you are not gonna need for at least 40 years. Do DCA, and in 40 years you will laugh about this moment. So it's a good moment to learn.
Yeah, I mean, people nowadays are no longer used to kind of short-term pain or some kind of suffering. So people want just to buy and be rich, or buy and buy at the right exact moment. People are
But
asking for advice, but nobody knows. So
that's
I,
the point. Nobody knows. Now my friends are asking me what happens with Bitcoin, what is going
yeah,
on,
it's exact time you go there.
how long do you need to buy now or wait? And I say always the same. Just
Yeah.
if you have money now that you know that you are not going to touch this money for 40 years, or money that if you lose today is not gonna, you're not gonna
Yeah,
go
that's for
bankruptcy,
life.
just
Yeah.
buy and wait. That's the point. Can go lower? Of course it can. Can this be the bottom? Of course it can. Nobody knows. So everyone who says this is the bottom, everyone who
Oh.
says it's gonna reach 40K, can be right, can be wrong. So the best
Yeah,
way is DCA and chill, as I always say.
yeah, I think Fernando. Now we are seeing like the max pain of the two camps. So we have like half of Twitter saying now it's you see the Fourier cycle is still there. It's not over. Bitcoin behaves like this one because Satoshi wrote the Fourier kind of halving inside the protocol, the adjustment, etc. And people calling like, yeah, for like 30,000 because we need to have like a 70% correction to the downside. And then yeah, on the other side, no guys, it's not even started yet because the BTC once priced in gold is still like a 20 ratio. We didn't see euphoria, so we need to go to half a million. So you see, nobody knows, so it's just to stick to the plan. Just if you have some spare cash, DC8. If you have some money that you don't need because you have received like, I don't know, more compensation, higher salary, or some I don't know, some more money that you have on the side, just put the level that you are comfortable with. And again, it's sometimes you will lose some more money, but it's not long term. So it's
That's the thing. It's like
at some point we'll see the direction. So
that's the thing. What we can say for sure, or not financial advice, but what I think that in 40 years, Bitcoin is gonna be worth at least 500,000. So nobody who cares if, let's say, if you buy today at 86 and Bitcoin goes down up to 40,
yeah.
in 40 years, when it's 500,000 a coin, matters if you bought at 85 or at 40K? Probably no, because you're not buying a lot. That's the point. So that's what I want to say. So, and what can happen, because we start talking about Bitcoin, but we have to talk about Bitcoin treasury companies because there is a lot of talk about that. Strategy went from 400 something this year to 170, and everyone is saying if Bitcoin goes down to 74, Sailor is gonna be broken, the company is gonna be broken. What's going on and what can happen?
I mean, for sure, it won't be broken. They have like almost a century of dividends to be deployed if in case it needed. They will find many ways to raise capital instead of selling their own Bitcoin. So for sure, if Bitcoin will stay at this price or lower for the next 4 years, for sure we will have some pressure, even more pressure to the stock, and probably also in some convertible notes. But again, only couple of those notes are like not in the money yet. So it will mean that strategy needs to find new capital to extend and refinance those debt, notably one tranche of 3 billions, which seems a lot. It is a lot, but again, strategy has a balance sheet of 60 billion in Bitcoin, so it's like 5% of this. And I think as a company, it's pretty solid. It has one of the most capitalized balance sheet on the planet. So I think it won't be that difficult to try to refinance with a different instrument or try to extend potentially this loan, maybe not with a maturity of 2028 or 2029, but maybe go to 2033 and just buy some more time. So there is no liquidation for Sailor. There is no Bitcoin that they need to sell in case of a price going below a certain threshold. They've been very, very clear on that. You can, if people have doubts, they can just go and check on their own website. On strategy.com is like a live dashboard in which you can see all the terms, all the live data. So I think it's one of the most transparent company out there. So every time we see this FUD, every time we see this kind of attacks on Sailor, I think it's normal part of try to shake out the most people out of any trade. It happens with Bitcoin, it happens with strategy, it happens with Tesla, it happens with everything. So I think
I
we just
know
need
it's
to wait.
yeah. I think that at this point of the market, come these guys like Peter Schiff saying, "I told you so. I told you so."
But
But
Fernando, they've been right, but they've been right like 1 year out of 16. So
but the
what's the
thing
point?
is, no, not even right. They are right if they do cherry picking. They
Yeah, yeah.
pick up this amount. When I wear my T-shirt that says "I told you so," is because I've been telling people from years about Bitcoin, and they say this is a scam. And
Yeah.
regardless of the
Fern, I don't listen to you. I think I lost your audio.
hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, no, it's
Now
okay.
I think
Yeah.
that was the phone, the telephone that was saying. But the point is that when I say that when these people, and I don't know where did you stop listening to me, these people is doing cherry picking. Of course, if they pick up they're gonna say, "Oh, I told you so." But if you start watching since Sailor start doing the Bitcoin Treasury strategy, MicroStrategy is 1,300 percent up.
1,300, yeah.
So it's like it's like 1,300 up. So if you, of course, if you pick up this amount, this drop, if you pick up this drop of Bitcoin, always gonna go this. But when I wear my T-shirt that is "I
Yeah.
told you so," is because I talk to the people and people say Bitcoin is a scam, and regardless the price, you see the increase of the adoption, Wall Street money coming in. You see how Bitcoin is taking over the economy of the world. And of course, you can say, "Oh, but it dropped from 126 to 85. Who cares? At the end of the day, one BTC is one BTC. And if you do the long term, Bitcoin is going to be up forever." So that's the funny part of when price moves, because all these genius come and say, "I told you so." Or many of the guys say, "I told you that was the top. I sold my Bitcoin. Now I'm going to buy back." And who knows if this is true or not? That it's just people trying to get clicks and more views.
Yeah, and Fern, just let me share now, because what you said is very clear, and I think this chart is very self-explanatory. So for like new people that they are not familiar with this chart, this is the 200-week moving average of Bitcoin price. So this one with the dots is the price, but then the moving average is this line. And as we see, it's like a line that is going up into the right. It's pretty clear to see. So of course we can see like moment in which it's more steep, moments in which it's more flat, moments in which maybe it seems that Bitcoin doesn't do much. But if you see over the long horizon, as Fernando was saying, you see that it's like an uptrend to the right. And for me, it's key because you see in the last 4 years, 3 years and a half, we never see any kind of euphoria. Euphoria is when these dots are like in the green, in the yellow, or in the red. And you see, for the last 3 years and a half, we've been in the very cold, very quiet part. So that's another indication for me that maybe the bull market is like still ongoing. It's still an accumulation, a longer accumulation phase. And I'm not sure we will ever see in the red again because now Bitcoin is much bigger in size and much more mature. But I
Who
would
knows?
definitely think it's impossible that we don't see any kind of light green or even yellow in the next future, because Bitcoin at the end of the day is still the most volatile market, 24/7, always open. So it's very sensitive to news, macro events, liquidity. So yes, I think we
And
will
on
see
the
again some other colors, and the line is up into the right.
and on the other side is nothing. Is there are no macro things that explain this crash of not only Bitcoin, of most part of the stock market. So I think that something is happened that we don't know because we are not on the back.
We are just commentators. We
We
comment
are
the
just
news when they came out.
commentators,
We don't have any
and
news
again,
inside there.
nobody knows. And if someone really knew, they are not going to be talking about this in YouTube. They're going to be doing their stuff in the back. But I mean, again, like nobody knows what's going to happen. For me, the 4 year cycle is over. For me, we are entering in a new phase with the corrections, uh, probably following a huge going down will come a huge spike up, and if the spike is up so huge, there will be a big correction, but it is what it
And,
is.
and because again, it's too obvious to trade something that is doing a 4 year cycle. At some point in the future, it will become too easy to read that it will no longer become effective. Because if you know that in November of the year after the halving, you just need to sell it and buy after 1 year because it's bottoming out, everyone is making money. Everyone is so smart. Can it last? No, it can't, because
It
markets are
cannot.
self-correcting. Markets wants to punish those, let's say, behavior driven by few data points. That's why
That's
I
the
think
point.
at some point in the future it will stop. This
That's
cycle, probable. The next one, let's see. But for me, it's already this one.
Yeah, that's the point. And what can happen, because I've been reading a lot of things about strategy being kicked out of MSCI
Yeah,
index
let me
and
share it again.
probably kicked out of other indexes that can hurt Michael Saylor's strategy.
So yeah, let me share it again. Where is it here? Screen. Yeah, I think there is a lot of coordinated attack against strategy, because again, strategy is not only a company that wants to make money on Bitcoin. Strategy is trying to say to the world that we need to rethink about how banking is working, how financial system is operating, how what is a collateral, what is money. So it's much more than someone that just want to make money. I think Sailor is doing something bigger. And for sure, you have like the old guard, the incumbents that doesn't like this kind of behavior. That some new company, that we should remember that strategy comes from the software business, is still a software business company, although now it's like 98% focus on Bitcoin. But again, the JP Morgan, the traditional banking establishment, the other big financial institution, they are not very pleased about strategy, because strategy is telling to the world that we need to change. So I think now there is this coordinated attack from many index and also like from JP Morgan that raised the collateral that needs to be on their own platform to trade strategy and the preferred. And MSCI index just said that probably they needs to kick them out because they classify them in a different way. And Saylor pointed out that they are not an ETF, they are not a trust. They are an operating company, a software business, now doing this transition on their own treasury with Bitcoin. And I think the bottom, Fernando, is very interesting. Index classification doesn't define us. Our strategy is long-term. Our conviction in Bitcoin is unwavering, and our mission remains unchanged: to build the world's first digital monetary institution on a foundation of sound money and financial innovation.
That's what
That's
the
the
thing.
summary.
And I was laughing because how much money they can raise from these indexes, and is nothing compare what Saylor is targeting, that is 300 trillion of these fixed income instruments. So, and we are just starting. So probably, of course, they can. I think that they can shake the boat. They can put FUD on strategy. They will attack it. But I think that all the companies, all the treasury companies, and let me do a small advertisement. On Thursday, we are going to be talking with Andrew Webley from the Smarter Web Company. All these companies are doing what they said that they were doing. They are buying Bitcoin, they are not selling their Bitcoin, and they are raising money to buy more Bitcoin. That's what they need to do. And at the end of the day, they are doing that. So, and if you say all these clowns that say that strategy can go bankruptcy, when their debt is like probably 10% of all their collateral, it's crazy. If you go and see the balance sheet of Hertz, the rent a car, their debt is probably 100% of their value. So that's the point. So it's funny. That's why I say this is funny, because all the clowns that they are talking today, in probably 1 month, a couple of months, or a couple of years, they will have to eat their words. And I'm doing copy paste of these tweets so I can put in a bigger t-shirt, I told you so. That's the point.
Yeah, and no, that's true. I remember when you remember this guy that went to Joe Rogan right on the bottom after FTX, saying that now Bitcoin is going to zero. This Peter Zorani, what's the name? And
I don't remember.
Yeah, and I think it has become like the most popular kind of meme on the internet for Bitcoiners, because it's the point. Those people show up only when there is blood in the street and when there is like sentiment to the ground, just to seems to be smart. But again, they are not smart at all. They are just stupid clowns. And then when the price will recover, you will see why.
And at the end of the day, and that's what I want to say, and people learn or understand. I say the same that Chuck Moller says. I'm ready to die on this hill. I'm not here to be a millionaire. I'm not in Bitcoin to be a multimillionaire. I'm not doing this to get the biggest YouTube channel and become rich with my YouTube channel. I'm doing this because I believe that Bitcoin can change humanity for better. Not for me, for future generations. So if Bitcoin fails, and if Bitcoin goes to zero, and I have to go to sleep on the street or go back to Argentina to my mom's house, I don't care. If Bitcoin goes to zero, I don't care. I'm ready to die on this hill, because if Bitcoin goes to zero, the world that is coming is a world that worth nothing. So if Bitcoin goes to zero, probably in 100 or 200 years, we are gonna be witnessing, not me because I'm gonna be dead. We are not. We are gonna be witnessing the end of human race. So
Another dark age, a very brutal dark
there is
age.
not gonna be another dark age. So for me, it's the same. If Bitcoin goes to zero, if Bitcoin goes to 100, I don't care because for me, one BTC is one BTC. And if I have to go to sleep on the street, if I have to become a homeless because Bitcoin goes to zero, I don't care because I would be sad, not for me. I would be sad because humanity lost the last chance to have sound money, real money, to make this world a much, much, much better place to live. So that's the point. If Bitcoin goes up, amazing.
Yeah.
I will be funny. I will be happy. If Bitcoin goes down, I will be sad, not for me, for all of the people that probably will be laughing at me. Oh, you believe in that, in this trap, and you went zero, you were scammed. We all been, if Bitcoin fails, the world fails. That's the point.
Yeah, I think a lot of Bitcoiners have this kind of very strong ideological protection of the idea of Satoshi, which I think is the beauty of Bitcoin, and that's why Bitcoin is winning, and that's why Bitcoin is impossible to replicate, because now it's no longer the technology, the price, etc. It's the idea of freedom, of self-sovereignty that Bitcoin can bring to all of us. So the sailors, us in this very, very small, tiny echo chamber, and the other people that are really passionate and discussing every day to colleagues, friends, online, offline about Bitcoin, is because they believe very, very strongly in this ethos and in the idea of freedom, in the idea of not necessarily to become super wealthy or very rich. There is not really the point. Is to become free of your time and of your decision making, which is more
And
important. So
and you know what happens is that uh, Bitcoin is not gonna die. It's not gonna go to zero because there are. And now that I was in the conference in Argentina, and I was talking the other day on a space for African people. These people needs
Mhm.
Bitcoin, and these people we are not gonna let Bitcoin die. Probably can die for Wall Street or and we can take 200 years to grow it back, but Bitcoin is super strong on some communities that is not gonna die.
But Fernando, again, I think we also need to see the incentives.
Yes,
Now in 2025, almost all the hedge fund manager, almost all the big names in Wall Street, somehow they have embraced Bitcoin, either directly or indirectly. So we have not only Wall Street, we have the banking system, we have also
yes,
the US establishment, the government, etc. So
and
it's completely a shift also for them. So what's the point for them in or in try, because they won't succeed, or in try to push it down? At some point they will
that's
just become on the
yes.
same side of us.
Yeah, that's the thing. And another thing that one of the again, all the crazy theories that I read that is going on, that
Yeah.
probably the big money is taking Bitcoin down so
Hmm.
they can accumulate more and more and more and before the price goes super high. But at the end of the day, I don't care because one BTC will always be one BTC. So what I say to the people, and it's no financial advice, DCA and chill. Nobody knows what can happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nobody knows the price tomorrow. If you want to wait until it's 40K, then wait. Can happen, cannot happen. If you think this is the bottom and you want to go all in, go all in. But the best way is not trying to think when is the bottom, when is the top, just DCA. Make a plan, like save X amount of money per week, per month, whatever you want, and you will be happy.
I mean, Fernando, I just saw like a couple of days ago, like the Secretary of State of US Scott Bessent went to PubKey in Washington, in DC, celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, being there probably, I don't know, eating something, having a beer, I don't know, spending some time. And I mean, PubKey is like a Bitcoiner's place. You can pay with Lightning. You have all the Bitcoin stuff. You have all the other, cabinet members that are not only supporting Bitcoin, but most of the time hinting to it, speaking about it, having some very positive thoughts about that. And now, if let's just imagine, I mean, this administration, they wants to win the midterm election because in the US you have they won in November 24, and now they needs to win also in November 26. My
Mm-hmm.
idea is that they try to do the most painful stuff right away, right off the gate in November, December, January, and February of 2025, just to have then time eventually to adjust and to do more stuff positively for the people and try to maybe hand out money, try to change the Fed chair in around May in order to have like the perfect setup for the midterm election. They won the election thanks to Bitcoin and crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think they will push the price down so much, or they don't try to do some more kind of support on this industry that was the key industry in letting them win the election in the first place? So for me, that's the biggest reason why I think that the 4-year cycle is broken. Because if it's gonna to play out, 100% they will lose the election. Because
Yes.
the base would say, look, I was expecting ABC, and look at now. It's like the price is shit, nothing is moving on, and the general sentiment will be so bad that most of the MAGA and the red Republicans will probably shift to the opposite side because it's now becoming more appealing. The free money, the free shit you see in New York, you see in California. So I think it's everything a part of the plan. Trump and the other folks are not stupid, especially when it's about money, business, and winning elections. So I'm pretty sure next year will be very, very bright for us because that's in their own, first in their own intention. Second, they are aligned in the values and they speak about Bitcoin for the last couple of years. And third, they need Bitcoiners to win the midterm election to keep their own administration moving forward. So when I see all these pieces together, I think it's pretty clear to me that 2026 shouldn't be a down year or a red
No,
year.
I think so, but it is what it is. Let's see. And let's talk about the to close. You have something to tell us about MetaPlanet?
Yeah, yeah, because I think they disclosed last week similar products to Strategy. So they also moved into the preferred. So Dylan Leclerc just explained the products. So there will be two new products for the Japanese market. One is called Mars. So they also love these space travel names. So Mars, which is a MetaPlanet adjustable rate security, a senior non-dilutive preferred equity instrument. Mars aims is to deliver monthly dividend that adjusts, designed to minimize market volatility. So it's similar to Stretch. So it's monthly, is senior in the capital stack, and the idea is to have um, to minimize market volatility. So it's somehow similar to Stretch. And then there is Mercury, which is a Class B MetaPlanet convertible for return and yield, which in my view is similar to Strike, STRC, because there is the convertibility feature into the common stock. And they will sell this one at 4.9%. So quite lower compared to Strategy, but it's because the base rate in Japan is almost zero, whereas the base rate in the US is like around 4% with the Fed funds rate. So the difference between 8 or 9 from Strike and 4.95 from this Mercury is driven by the different environment that Japan is. So I think this idea of sale or of doing this preferred offering is working. Also, Strive launched SATA a few weeks ago. MetaPlanet launched those two instruments. Strategy have now 5 in their own products with Stream. So I think, yeah, is year zero, basically.
That's the
This
point.
strategy started in January 2025. It seems like years now, but it's not even 1 year. And many more companies are joining. many more instruments will see the light. All of those instruments, the only goal is to raise capital and buy Bitcoin instantaneously. So I think it's pretty bright for Bitcoin after all, because despite the short-term volatility, you have new buyers with a lot of buying powers ready to deploy for digital scarcity. So I think it's great.
Of course, that's the point. And again, if you try to measure the market in just few months, you are losing the big picture, and you need to understand how Bitcoin behaves. And after understanding how Bitcoin behaves, you need to understand how these companies behaves and what is the goal of these companies before investing. So I
Fernando,
think,
sorry,
yes,
just before closing. So we have also back to the political side. I mean, I don't like to speak about politics, etc., because it's not my main field. But I think for the Bitcoin side, it's interesting because we see the DJT, which is the company, the media company of Trump, that it's a Bitcoin treasury company. They have like 16,000 Bitcoin. Then the son, Eric Trump, partnership for the American Bitcoin, which is the mining company, full all in Bitcoin, etc. Then we have Scott Bessent that goes to PubKey that says that Bitcoin is key for the treasury, that the stable coin and Bitcoin is the bedrock of the new financial economy. Then you have the Secretary of State, it's the Secretary of Commerce, Latnik, that is previously the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. Cantor Fitzgerald is the backbone of Tether, is the backbone of most of those deals. They will launch new treasury companies. So if we just see where they aligned, it's pretty obvious that they are aligning orange, and that their idea is to. I'm not saying it's a good thing, because when politics enters Bitcoin, a lot of Bitcoiners starts to think that is not positive. But at the end of the day, it's an open protocol, so you need to accept even people that you don't like. But if their intent is aligned with yours, I think you should embrace it. So I think
they
it's
must
positive ahead. Yeah.
they must align with us. So that's the main thing. So again, as we always say, this is a long run. You don't have to get feelings for like for a couple of months of going down, even if it's going down crazy, like 30% plus. And again, that's what it teaches you, that DCA, don't do crazy things, don't do leverage, don't do trading, because that is where you lose money. If you buy Bitcoin today and you hold, and Bitcoin goes to 40K, in 40 years, you didn't lose. In 40 years, you will win. If you use leverage, of course, you will lose. But that's the point. At the end of the day, if you use leverage and you lose, no
It's on
cry
you.
at the casino. No cry
Yes.
at the casino. But it is what it is. Things can go good or can go bad. But always you need to see the long term. And
Yeah.
other thing that I want to mention is the energy I saw during the conference in Lugano. The energy, of course, in Lugano was 116,
Yeah, it
but
was
the
much better.
energy I saw during the conference in Argentina. Now they are going a couple of conferences in El Salvador, and you see the energy there. They don't care about the price. So I think that, again, this is a correction. We can go either lower. I don't know, to be honest. I don't have the magic ball,
No,
but
but
if you see in 40 years, Bitcoin is gonna be worth 500K at least. So that's the point. And if you want to buy Bitcoin, first of all, study. First of all, understand how it moves, and
and ride
ride the
the
Bitcoin
Bitcoin
revolution.
revolution. Yes.
That's the point. That's the point. And um, again, always invest. Put money on Bitcoin. If you are not convinced 100%, if you are in doubt, just put some money. That if you lose this money, if Bitcoin goes to zero, it's not gonna change your life. So that's the point. Don't sell your house and buy Bitcoin. So just put few amount of money that you can afford to lose. And in 4 years, you will be saying, thank you, Fernando. But it is what it is. This is no financial advice.
Yeah, I don't want to add anything else because it was perfect. So yeah, I agree.
So Marco, thank you very much. I hope next week we can meet with Diego, because we were about to meet with Diego, but I was sleepy with my jet lag, and I woke up 2 hours after.
Yeah, we will do next time with Diego as well. Yeah,
But we are gonna do next time for sure. Probably we are gonna be from our studio that we are setting up.
finally. Yeah.
So
Right,
let's see. So Marco, but for all the people that is on the other side, your social media, so they can follow you.
Yeah, Battistoshi93 on X. I mean, I think most of us have been kind of not very active lately. Less news, a lot of bad mood on X. So sometimes it's good also just to step back, let the market digest, and then jump back in. So yeah, Battistoshi93, you can follow there.
I was not so active because I was traveling and I was eating. So that was I was not so active, but I'm gonna be starting be active from now in our main X account, the Bitcoin double underscore, and in our X in Spanish, the Bitcoin ESP double underscore. So we are gonna be talking about treasury companies in that account as well. So stay tuned. We are here. We are riding the Bitcoin revolution. And again, this is Bitcoin. Understand Bitcoin, study Bitcoin, because we are not here to make money. We are here to make the world a better place to live. As I always say, share this episode with the people you love. Share this episode with the people you hate, because we must reach 8 billion people and give them the orange pill. See you in the next episode of our podcast. Stay humble, stack sats, and remember, we are all Satoshi.
Si te gustó el episodio, danos un like y suscríbete a nuestro canal. Nuestro canal en español es Libertarian BTC ESP. También tenemos un canal en inglés, Libertarian BTC. Nuestro Twitter o X es de Bitcoin, double underscore o doble guión bajo. Nuestro Instagram es de Bitcoin Libertarian. Nuestro Patreon es de Bitcoin Libertarian. Así que nada, suscríbete, aprende de Bitcoin y apoyanos en esta titánica tarea de darle la píldora naranja a 8 billones de personas. Muchas gracias.